Imagine it's 1975 and we're off the coast of Florida in the USA. We're on the set of the filming of Jaws. Slumped in his director's chair is a young director who's looking very, very worried because he's got a big problem. You see, he only had a $26 million budget, and he's already blown that. And his key star is not cooperating. In fact, it's pretty cranky. It's a giant mechanical shark, which took up pretty much all of his $26 million budget. The problem is, the star is not cooperating. It doesn't look scary on camera, and it's rusting in the salty seawater. This was Steven Spielberg's big break. His first movie for Hollywood ever. It could also be his last. So as he sat there slumped in his chair, he thought, how would Steven Spielberg, sorry, take two. He thought, as he sat there slumped in his chair, he thought, how would Alfred Hitchcock solve this problem? And then it came to him, that's it. I don't have to show the shark. I can tell the story from the point of view of the shark. And so he set off back to work, reinvigorated with possibility. And as we now know, by showing the point of view of the shark, we harness the power of the audience's imagination. They imagined terrors and horrors way beyond their belief of what the shark could do to them. And so the movie got into full swing. It became a wild success. Banked over $300 million at the box office. Steven Spielberg went on to win Grammys and Oscars and all sorts of amazing accolades for this movie. And Forbes now puts him in their rich list with a personal value of more than $2.5 billion US dollars. So what can we learn from the story? Well, he shifted perception on his problem solving. He asked himself a question: how would Alfred Hitchcock solve this problem? And that was the key to success. So today, we're going to be talking about questions, in particular what I call killer questions, the questions that are going to break your problems wide open. But first I need to know, what are your problems? It's not a psychotherapy session, but I want to know who's in the room and how I can help you in our limited time today. We've just got 2 hours together, so it's going to be a mad, coffee-inspired sprint to the finish line. Right, so stand up if you're in the production department here at Astro. Just stand up very quickly. No, nobody. Stand up if you're in the content side. All right, great. Stand up if you're in the marketing side. Stand up if you're in the admin finance side. I need to speak to these people. I need to be very nice to these people. Good. And who have I left out?
Research.
Research. How could I possibly forget you? I'm sorry. Okay, research, and how about yourself?
Website.
Oh, on the website. Okay, content creation of websites?
Admin for the websites and pushing our content online.
Great. All right, that's terrific. That gives me a good feel for who's in the room and how I can tailor the material in today's program to you guys. All right, good. So what is it about questions? Well, in the new economy, according to Warren Berger, questions are more valuable in problem solving than answers. And I know in my 30-year career at the intersection of creativity and commerce, I've too often spent all my creative brain power, my background's in the advertising industry, coming up with really great answers, really great commercials, really good answers to the wrong question, which has no value. If you don't answer the right question, your answer is completely off target. It has no value. So we must get the question right. So that's what we're going to be doing today, stepping through a process that I call killer questions today. And as it happens, it's the subject of my brand new book. Touch it, it's hot off the press. Ooh, it's boiling hot. It's brand new. It hasn't actually launched yet, so you guys are the first in the world to see this. That's how hot it is. Cool. Yeah. We have copies for sale in the foyer on your way out. At a heavily discounted price. I learned a lot from Disney. So why are questions so powerful for us? Quite simply, this. Think of a question as a torch or a flashlight which shines into the darkness of the unknown. What is it that you don't know about your problem? Your creative challenge, your department's problem, etc., etc. The darkness is what holds all the secrets. It's where the strategic uncertainty lies. And if you shine your torch into that darkness, it will reveal and unlock its magic for you. So that's what we're going to be stepping through today. Now, Peter Drucker, a management guru, says the important and difficult thing is to find the right question. Could you perhaps complete this reading for us?
There are few things as useless, if not dangerous, as the right answer to the wrong question.
That's it. That's exactly it. That's what Peter Drucker says. That's what I found in my experience. And today, I'm going to help you guys make sure you develop better questions, the right questions, so that Astro can put its resources, its time, its money, its brain power against solving the right problems to find the future. That's what it's all about. So this is what the canvas looks like. The questioning canvas. We always start off by saying, okay, well, what are we thinking about? You know, what's actually our challenge? What's the problem we're trying to solve? We then move into examining our blind spots and assumptions to do with that. Then we move into a framework of questioning. We start with why questions, and we're going to be going through why questions in detail. We then move to what if questions. We move then into how might we questions. We then select, shortlist, prioritize the best questions that we've created. We improve those through magic and a bit of pixie dust. And finally, ta-da! We come up with our killer question. That's the burning question that when solved, our problem will go away. Sound good? Yeah. Fantastic. Great. We've actually got some handouts at the back, if I can enlist some assistance at the back. No, the printed handout on the other cabinet. Great. If everyone can get a copy of that, and I'll help you dish those out. Yeah, you do one side, I'll do the other. If you can just pass these around. It's just a simple canvas which gets you started on this technique. And as I said, we're doing a real speed through this today. We're not going to go through every bit in detail, but I'm going to give you guys the bits that you need, the juicy parts, okay? Okay, any questions? All right, to illustrate how the framework works, let's take the example of Sir James Dyson. Hey, good afternoon, welcome. Sir James Dyson. He sat down to examine the humble household fan. So the first step is, all right, put your focus up there. What are we doing? We're looking at the fan. Great. What's the first step? let's dump our assumptions about the fan. And what would be the biggest, broadest, dumbest assumption, do you think, about a fan?
To be a fan.
It to be, yes, to be a fan, exactly, is its most basic function, right? And how are most fans fans? Yeah, but more? Lagi? Blades. Who said blades? Fantastic. Blades it is. All right. Every fan in history had a blade. That is its most basic assumption, isn't it? It has a blade. So that goes on the board. It cools you. It's a fan. It functions like a fan. It has blades. Possibly it's electricity operated, etc., etc. So we dump all of those assumptions down on our board. All right? So he would have said, all right, the assumption is, let's say, it has blades. So we write that down, it has blades. We then move forward into the next part, which is why questions. So if you can just follow along on your canvas, right? So after the assumption dump, the next bit is why questions. So the question then becomes, and we'll just choose this example, why must the fan have blades? Now that would make you a little bit uncomfortable, right? You think, well, of course it's got to have blades. It's got to cool me, it must have blades, right? But this is the point. We need to leave behind our comfort zone, leave behind our connection to history, leave behind all that excess baggage which is forcing us to think the same old stuff. So the question then becomes, why must we have blades? Going back to the canvas, the next step is a what-if question. Now, I love what-if questions. It is my favorite of all of them because what-if questions is crazyville. It's your license to be creative. Everything is possible in the land of what-if. There are no budgets. Yeah, you love that one, don't you? There are no budgets. Everyone will love this. There's no line managers. There's no deadlines. Everything is possible in the land of what if. Now, to get really good, crazy energy going in what if, there are 3 techniques. One is called reversing. The other one is called stretching. And the third one is called squeezing. All right, and we'll be going through this in detail later. So let's give you an example of that. So your why question is, why must a fan have blades? Your what if question becomes a reversal. What if the fan had no blades? So can you see how we've turned that dumbest broad assumption, we've flipped it through 180 degrees. What if a fan has no blades? So suddenly we're in completely new uncharted territory. Because nobody's thought that thought before, have they? Or if they have, they didn't do anything with it before Dyson got onto it. So what if a fan has no blades? You reversed your assumption. The next one is what we call stretching. So stretching means make it bigger. Add a 0 to it. Add 2 zeros to it. Add 10 zeros to it. I don't care. So that question becomes, what if you have 10 blades? What if you have 100 blades? What if you have 1,000 blades? You've stretched it. You've made the possibilities bigger. The other way to look at it is by squeezing it. So instead of having 4 blades, typically a fan has 4 blades, make it smaller. What if it has 3 blades? What if it has 2 blades? What if it has 1 blade? What if it's only this small? You're squeezing it, you're making it, you're shifting your perception by looking at as a smaller problem. All right, so that's what if. So you can see already, your brain gets excited when we look at things from a different angle. Then what comes next in the canvas from there is, how might we? So then Dyson had to sit down and say, well, how might we make a fan without blades? That was the problem he was trying to solve. how might we make a fan without blades? And the answer is this. Beautifully engineered Dyson, I think it's called the turbo blade or the jet blade, something sexy like that. But that's the answer, a fan with no blades. That's how you get from here to there. And you guys, in your departments, in your respective work, at Astro, you can do that too. Sound good? Yeah. Damn right. So let's get started. I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you today. But quickly, what does this say? Say it again. Stand up if you're 100% sure it says be creative. Yeah, that's everybody. Yeah, say it loudly. Be creative. Great. And again. Be creative. And again. Be creative. Sorry, I didn't hear you. What happened there? Assumption, thank you. Assumptions. Assumptions lead us astray. We were very confident a moment ago, weren't we? Suddenly not so. Yeah, we assumed a number of things. You know, our brain locked into that pattern, said, yeah, that's what it is. It's got to be that. It can't be anything else, especially as we're in a creativity workshop. The other assumption that you made was, I'm sure it'll make sense. No. Yeah, so assumptions, very, very dangerous. They are what derail our thinking. Assumptions take us along a track that we don't need to be on, we shouldn't be on, because it's history pushing us towards the future, which is not always a good thing, as my investment advisor tells me. Past performance is not a guaranteed indicator of future performance in shares, is it? Yeah, so don't assume anything. And as you know, assume is made up of 3 words, right? Because when you assume something, you make an ass out of you, and you make an ass out of me. So never assume. So we get to the first step of the assumption dump. What we're going to do now for the majority of the workshop is go through 4 steps. Assumption dumping, so exposing our blind spots, generating why questions and looking at some really killer why questions. Then we're going to go into some what if things, and we're going to have a little mini case study of Pixar as well and how they use what if questions. This is really cool stuff. And then we're going to go to how might we, and we're going to solve some problems for you. And then we're done. So that's all pretty painless. So let's do that. So the first thing is, yeah, it's questioning the default. So for example, when I work with Daimler-Benz, with their R&D people on motor cars, the assumption might be, what's the assumption about a motor car? They might say, it must have wheels, right? So it must have wheels. It must have an engine. It must have 2 headlights. It must. That's what we call an assumption dump. You just dump all your stuff down here. The next one, when I work with Citibank, for instance, what are the assumptions about a bank? A bank must have branches. So that goes on the board. And all the really dumb, broad, basic assumptions you can think of is what you list. And aim for about, fill up a whole page, 25, more if you've got it. But if you can get 20 to 25, that to me is a sweet spot. Okay? And when I work with a company like Pfizer, for instance, pharmaceuticals, what's the biggest assumption about their drugs? Assume that they've got active ingredients. It's a big assumptions. So, Astro, now it's your turn. Let's start off with assumptions. I'm just going to start here. Assumption. Now, let's choose a nice juicy example, which is kind of common to everybody. I mean, you're all in different departments and coming at things from a different angle. What's a big juicy challenge for Astro at the moment? Sorry? Weather? Okay. All right. Yeah, okay, so Subscription base. I tend to agree with you. Thank you. And I love your colorful dress, by the way. That's nice. Yeah, subscription base. We need subscribers. We're in a battle against Netflix and many other battles, digital disruption, so many things happening, so many fires burning all at the same time for our business model. Great. So let's talk about the subscription base. So what are the assumptions we're making about Astro's product with regards to our subscription base?
Repetition. A lot of repetition.
Okay, a lot of repetition. Great. Yep. What else? Must have sport content. Yeah, okay, good.
And then the packages are fixed, so a lot of consumers say, might ask the question, what if I want this channel but not that channel? Do I have to buy this package?
Yeah, okay, so fixed, what do you call it? Fixed package? Okay, cool. Great.
Pricing.
Yeah, pricing. What about the pricing? Sometimes you should be more specific, and then it gives us more meat to chew on, yeah? What about the pricing? Expensive. We assume that it's expensive? Is that an assumption? Yeah? Yeah.
9 out of 10 employees said they would not subscribe to Astro once they leave Astro. And that's a fact because I did research.
Sir, could you turn the camera off? Wait a minute. No, I'm joking.
Why that assumption is real.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting. I do have very interesting discussions with taxi drivers when they drive me to and from Astro. Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's just take a couple of more.
Rain fail.
Yeah, rain fail disruption, huh?
Must have satellite dish.
Nice one. Who said that? Great. Well done. Must have satellite dish, yeah. Yeah, see, a lot of these things fall under the category of must have. It's like the fan, must have blades. No, just because they've always had blades doesn't mean it must have blades. Just because it's always had sport doesn't mean it must have sport. So this was what, sorry? Yeah, must have a satellite dish. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, satellite dish, coder, etc. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Now, what I loved was when he said that, as soon as he said that, bang, everybody started laughing. And I always listen for laughter when we're discussing ideas, because the more laughter it is, it means the more dangerous the idea is, which means the more potential in that idea. Because it makes people feel uncomfortable. Because your attitude towards that is, of course we must have advertisements. We must. So it's screwing with your brain when somebody says, must have advertisements, because you're thinking, yeah, that's completely fixed. It's a given must have, 100%. And this is where it gets exciting as we go through the process. Anyway, that's enough of assumptions. This gives us some very meaty stuff for our exercise this afternoon. So thank you to all those that have contributed so far. Thank you. Any questions? No? Any answers? No. Yeah, we can just go straight to the answer. If you've got the answer, just cut this crap out. Let's go straight to the answer. All right. All right. So that's challenging the assumption. It's all about exposing our blind spots. It's all the thinking that we're all turning up to Astro with every day, trying to, I say, repeat the existing business model. That's what's holding us back. Now we'll move on to the next section. Everybody just stand up, please. And let's just roll our shoulders. Just get a little bit of the late afternoon stress. You've all come from other sessions today, I presume, yeah? Yeah, so your heads are full and you're full of stress and you're thinking about all the problems at work. Okay, good. Sit down, please. So the next one in our canvas is why questions. Why questions I love, because they really open up the possibility for us. Why questions is where we put our assumptions under the microscope. Okay, so what I'd love to do, without kicking over the camera, what I'd like you to do is all just come up roughly to the line of the first chairs here. Bring your smartphone with you and fire up your camera mode. Can we do that? So bring your smartphone with a camera in it. And just line up sort of along here somewhere, roughly along here, doesn't matter. And what I'd like you to do is just take a photograph of the screen with the eye in the middle, centered, not of me. I'd hate to be famous, you know, the paparazzi. That would be my worst nightmare. Yeah, no, don't zoom in. Don't zoom in. Just normal setting. Just take a photograph with the eye right in the center of your frame.
With the Y or without the Y?
Just, it doesn't matter. Just the eye must be right in the middle, but don't zoom in, yeah? Just normal setting. Just with the eye right in the middle of the frame. Okay, now if you could go to the back of the room, as far back as you possibly can. Close to the handsome gentleman at the back there. What's your name, sir?
Russ.
Russ, thank you very much for your help today. Appreciate it. Yeah, actually, how about a big hand for the Learning and Development team for putting on the Learning Fest, yeah? Thank you. And I do appreciate the opportunity to be invited in. Now, from the back of the room, once again, if you could, no zooming, just take a photograph with that eye in the middle of your frame. No zooming in. That's okay. Work around it. Now, compare photograph 1 with photograph 2. Just do an A-B comparison. What's the difference with the second photograph you took?
Smaller, further.
It's further, which means what?
Smaller.
Means smaller.
Less clearer, it's blurry.
It's blurry. Okay. Anyone else blurry?
Space.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
It just looks, you get the whole wider view. Yeah.
Wider view, that's the answer I'm looking for. Yeah, when we step back, we see literally the bigger picture. When we step back from our problems, you know, here's the real problem. When we turn up to work at Astro every morning, we log onto our computers and we stick our nose into the Excel spreadsheet and it stays there for most of the day. That's the problem. We're so close to our daily work, so close to our problems, so close to our challenges, we can't see the big picture. Why questions literally help us to step back and zoom out, and we do see the bigger picture. That's what makes why questions so powerful, so penetrating. So literally with why questions, you're stepping back from your problem, and you're questioning the very basic assumptions of your business and of your business unit. Yeah. Great. Grab your seats again. So what I'm going to do now is take you through a few examples of what I call killer why questions. Can we all say that out loud? Killer why questions. Yeah, that's it. These are questions that have completely busted the assumptions of their industry and created opportunities. So we all know this gentleman, right? A homegrown example for you here. So when Tony Fernandez, in fact, he had this idea when he was a young boy at boarding school in the UK, separated from his family, couldn't get back to Malaysia as often as he could from the UK. And this thought crossed his mind. Why do airfares have to be so expensive? And we all know how that story played out. So he's gone through and developed that question, turned his why question into a what if question, the what if into the how might we, and he's created a low-cost carrier. But all based on this thought process, starting with the why question. Why do it have to be so expensive? Well, because we include the meal, we include the entertainment, we include this service, that service, free oxygen, all these great things that airlines give you, right? And then that becomes, what if you only get the basic service and then you pay for everything else that you might want? Yeah, that's where it all started. Another Steven Spielberg example. This was the movie Close Encounters. Has anyone seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Yep, some? You okay? Great. So up to that time, basically the sci-fi movies of the day were very antagonistic. You know, they would travel to Earth and they'd end up in flamethrowers and everyone would get torched. So he stepped back and thought, well, why do the interactions have to be so antagonistic? What if they were friendly and collaborative instead? Which led to the storyline of Close Encounters and another runaway success for him. I was lucky enough to meet Spielberg in Shanghai about 100 years ago, and he was filming Empire of the Sun. Yeah, he still talks about that, yeah. And yeah, Walt Disney, correct. So once again, he was on a visit, and a thought came to him and says, why isn't there any entertainment here for parents? Which led him to develop the whole Disney park thing and include entertainment for parents. Even though it's just for kids, obviously, mainly for kids, there's stuff for the grown-ups as well, so it becomes a family destination. And as we know it, obviously the whole Disneyland, the Disney theme parks thing has become a massive multi-billion-dollar industry. But this is the thing, we need to see and ask and question all the stuff that everybody else is seeing. And you're seeing it every day, but you're not stopping to question it enough. And if something seems dumb or ordinary or out of place, question it, challenge it nicely. Nicely. I mean, obviously in a work situation, you need to bring it up through the right channels at the right moment in the right format. Not as a troublemaker, but as an innovative challenger. You need to be asking these questions of your business model to evolve your business model so that you are relevant to the future. And these guys, the founders of Google, yeah, have a great question. Why should it be like that? So whenever they look at something, they go, what's driving that? What's the story behind that story? What's causing that? Why should it be like that? And then that always becomes a what-if question. What if it wasn't like that? What if we did the opposite of that? What if we turned that upside down? What if we stopped doing that altogether? Yeah, very, very powerful. So, the next step in our canvas is to revisit our friends, the assumptions, and turn these into why questions. And this is really simple, so I want everybody to play. This is very simple. All we do pretty much in turning our assumptions into why questions is put the word why in front of our assumption. So, for example, why is there a lot of repetition on TV? That's it. So why is there a lot of repetition? Everyone see how we made that jump? Yeah, this is dead easy. This is so powerfully simple. Next one, must have sport content. So what's the why question that becomes? Yeah, why must we have sport content, yeah? And must is a nice strong word because it's like it's a given, yeah? It's an article of faith. No, it doesn't say in the Quran or the Bible or anywhere else that we must have sport content, right? Why must have sport content? Next one, fixed package. Why? Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. We can have a bit of creativity, a bit of fluidity in the format. Yeah, it doesn't have to be slavishly like from this to that exactly. The other thing too is if that sparks 2 or 3 questions, go with it. Go with the moment. Yeah. So, what do you think is the best way here? Fixed package. Why? Yeah, why, let's just call it why must packages be fixed, yeah? All right, that's a compromise. Be fixed, okay. Yeah, but I say if there are 2 or 3 different ways of phrasing it, examine the 2 or 3 different ways because, you know, the semantics are very important sometimes, right? The way that it's phrased can spark you in a different direction once you start twisting it, turning it, etc., playing with the language. Cool. We assume it's expensive. Why? Yeah, why is it expensive, yeah? Why is it expensive or does it have to be, right? Why is it or does it have to be? Sorry, my handwriting is shocking. Last year I did a course in reading and writing Thai language, and I think it's, but this is English, just to clarify, have to be expensive. Okay, rain fail, why? Yeah, why does, what are we going to call it, the system or the broadcast fail? What are we going to call it? Transmission, yeah. Why does transmission fail when it rains? Yeah. Now remember here, what we're trying to do is create the question. We're not trying to look for the answer. We're not looking for the answer. But a funny thing will happen is your supercomputer brain will already start to be ticking over in the background. All right? This is how our beautiful brains work. But we're not looking for answers. We're looking for the best question first, yeah? Why does transmission fail? Because the danger here is that some techie guy will say, oh, because of this and that and this factor and this technical reason, blah, blah, blah. We're not interested in that. We're interested in solving that problem. Don't tell us what is. We want to know, we need to know what could be. Yeah? Okay, so why does transmission fail in the rain? Yep, next. Yeah, why must we have a satellite dish? Yeah, that's a nice juicy question. Why must we have a satellite dish? And next one, advertisements. Why?
Why have advertisements?
Yeah, why do we have advertisements? Yeah. So the thing here is we're challenging the very, very, very core of our business. The very, very core of our existence is being challenged. Are you scared? Should be. Yeah, you know, when we're disrupting industries like this, you're really at the cutting edge of things. There should be a lot of nervous energy because you're turning your whole industry upside down. Everything that you thought you knew was right, you're taking to be wrong. And seeing where that leads us. Okay. Boom. So move on to the next section. Sorry, could I trouble you? Could you do me a big favor and bring in one more flip chart maybe from the next room? Because we'll need to continue the format. Thank you. So we come to my favorite part, which is what if questions. I love what if questions, as I said, because this is where we get to play. This is where we get to take the giant creative leap into the unknown, mind you. All the creative people in the room, and you are all creative, even the finance people, actually, especially the finance people. Yeah, any creative journey is a journey into the unknown, isn't it? We don't know where we're going to land when we make that jump. We hope we're going to land. We think we're going to land. We just don't know where we're going to land, whether it's in a nice rosy park or whether it's in a swamp. We don't know when we make a creative leap. But without making the creative leap, we're not going to disrupt anything. We're not going to change anything unless we make that leap. So I love what if, the playfulness of it. Okay. What if questions are really good at shifting perceptions. Do we all understand what perception is? Yeah? Somebody want to volunteer an answer? What is perception? Percepsi.
Things that a certain person see from your angle may be different from another person, based on your experience or based on your knowledge, and yeah, the people that interact, the context. So each person's perception will be different. That's what we normally say. Point of view. Yeah, the point.
That is a perfect answer. So I'm going to give you the clicker. You can run the rest of the program. Yeah, word for word. Oh, great. If you can perhaps, let's just pop that up here, actually, just next to this one. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Good man, Russ. Good. Yeah, perfect answer. It's our point of view. It's the way we see the world, and we all see the world completely differently based on our background, our experiences, our study, our friends, the books we've read, the movies we've watched, everything. We all have a unique point of view. To prove that, I'd like you all to stand up. And could you please put out both eyes open, don't close your eyes, but both eyes wide open. Put your finger about 60 cms in front of your face and just point the tip of your finger, without closing your eyes, at the tip of this guy's nose here. So just line up your finger roughly with that guy's nose. Everyone got it? Great. Now, could you close your left eye for me, please? And now, could you open your left eye and close your right eye? You can't do it? You need me to do that for you? Sorry. Now, a few of you oohed and ahed. What was that about? It moved to another nose? Sorry. Do we have a medic or a nurse in the room at all? It moved to another nose, sir. Is somebody monitoring what you're eating for lunch? This is, wow. It moved to, did anyone else have it move to another nose? Yeah. Really? Oh boy, I'm in trouble with this group. Oh wow. Really? Wow. Okay. All right. All right. Forget that. Let's try another technique. Point at the original nose again, which was this one. And and this time, could you close both eyes for 3 seconds and then open them? Okay, close. 1, 2, 3, open. All right, so, okay, so what happened? What happened there? Yeah, getting back to the original nose photo, what happened there was we shifted perception. We've actually got two realities. We have two eyes, and each of our own eyes has its own reality. So what more, you've got different people around you with different experiences and different backgrounds looking at the same problem. We're all going to be looking at the same problem with very different angles, yeah? So this is why diversity is important, and we need to shift the way that we look at our problems. Stand up if you've seen this movie. Oh, most of you, great. Stand up if you've seen this movie. Yep. And stand up if you've seen this movie. Great. Mic check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. No. Great. Okay, terrific. So these are all written and or directed by this wonderful guy, Pete Docter. Yeah, amazing creative talent. And I was fortunate enough, lucky enough to meet with him earlier this year, which was a real thrill for him, for me. And, and what I learned about that, sitting front and center in his workshop on storytelling, was how central what-if questions are to Pixar's magic. And I'm going to share that with you now. Now, we've been having a bit of technology problems, so rather than dicking around with the other computer and trying to rely on the internet, I'm just going to summarize the video I was going to show you in a few slides here. Could somebody please read out what Valerie Lapointe, she's a story artist at Pixar. Would you like to read this for us, sir, please?
What ifs are fun and simple way to kick off the whole creative process. What if questions invite the imagination into a story you want to explore?
Great, thank you. What's your name?
Vice.
Correct. Thank you. Good. And if you could read for us, please, the next one.
What ifs really drive the imagination?
Yeah, and this is Mark Andrews, the director of Brave and a few others, yeah. Great, and your name?
Irene.
Irene, great. And next, your name?
Afruz.
Afruz, okay. Cool, could you read this for us, please?
The best what ifs are like a key that unlock a door.
Cool, and this is Kristen Lester, also a story artist at Pixar. And one more, we've already had you. Let's hear from the research lady.
What if shuts down the logic part of your brain and let you engage the dream part of the brain?
Yeah, so this is a very strong, clear message coming from inside of Pixar, how it drives their creative process. Yeah, it's very, very central. To the point where Sanjay tells us that Toy Story was based around this question. Can we have the admin finance lady? Yeah, what is your name? We'll come to you next. Lady in the green first.
What if our toys around us were actually sentient and can come alive?
Yeah, so that was their what if question that drove the whole idea for Toy Story. What if our toys can come alive? See how that drove that whole storyline with a what if question. And then the next one? Yes, you.
What if a rat wanted to cook?
Haute cuisine, yeah? Yeah, and that became the storyline for which movie? Cool, who's seen that movie? Most of you, and not you again, Irene. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see what if questions are really driving their creativity. So I'd like you now just to take a moment and summarize your 3 favorite movies. Any movies, doesn't matter what genre they are. How would you summarize your favorite movie, reverse engineer a what if question for it? So we've already seen that Toy Story was what if our toys could come to life. So what about your favorite movie, whether it's Titanic or whatever? What is your favorite movie? So just think about your favorite movies and just spend a couple of minutes creating what if questions. What do you think the what if questions are that drove that storyline, that led to that whole story coming into being? Okay. Great. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. Tell you what, in the interest of time, if we just work on one and then the rest you can work on as your homework, yeah? Okay, has anyone got their question already? Who's done with it? Great, would you like to share that with us?
So what if
if Anakin Skywalker didn't turn to the dark side?
What if?
Anakin Skywalker didn't turn to the dark side.
Great.
Then there'll be no Darth Vader. So, yeah.
Okay. So do we agree that that was the question that drove the storyline? Or do we have to know Darth Vader? Do we have to know about the dark side to make that sense?
What if we have the Force? Or what if there's another galaxy that in the far, far away galaxy?
Yeah, maybe what if there's another galaxy far, far away? Nice one. Yeah.
What if we do have the Force?
Okay. Yeah. All right. But the thing here, because it's what if land, everything's possible. And your first question will never be your best question. So you just keep on drafting until you really get a question that says, wow, I really want to answer that question. And then the answer to that becomes that great big movie. Who else has got one? Yeah, please. Farouz, yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
Do you guys have the movie name first or the question first?
You give us a question and we'll try guess your movie.
If Juliet didn't take the poison,
What if...
yeah,
Okay.
I messed it up.
All right, yeah. Okay, what if Juliet didn't take the poison?
Yeah.
Can we all guess that? Yeah. Cool, nice one, well played, thank you. Let's take one from the back here, the passenger section at the back here. Lady in yellow, what have you got?
What if there are superpower in this world?
What if there's superpowers in this world? Great, and what movie do you think that's driving? Do you all get it? Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we have to go a little bit further. It depends on how broad it is. Sometimes we need to be a bit more specific, right? But yeah, I mean, has everyone got the technique? Right? So if you create a what-if question, it forces you forward. And as all those Pixar people said, it opens your imagination for you. It unlocks the possibility of story for you. Yeah? All right, great. So go home or on the bus on the way home or driving on the way home, just spend some time working on the other two as well, yeah? Does anyone really, really want to share their one with us? What have you got?
Monster University.
What's that? What if?
Monster University. That's my favorite movie.
Okay. So what's the question?
Monsters really do exist and live like us?
Yeah, okay. Great. Nice. Okay, cool. Thanks. What's your name?
Dila.
Dila. Okay. Great. Anyone else want to share with us? Yeah, please, Jinli.
What if a clown does not bring joy to children?
Great, and I love the reaction around the room. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Very powerful technique. All right, I recently watched this video of Neil Gaiman, who's a British fiction author, and he was talking about the power of what-ifs. And he was just saying to us, this is the thought process. Just start with something and finish with something else. So what if a werewolf bites a goldfish? Completely crazy. It may or may not take you anywhere, but you explore it, right? Everything is possible. It's a crazy premise. Yeah. So, yeah, he's an interesting author, or award-winning. Has anyone ever read any of Neil Gaiman's? So, have you? Great. Terrific. Which ones and how did you find those?
Good Omens, the one he wrote with Dan Pratchett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Cool. Great. And this is a $21 billion question. J.K. Rowling, what if a little boy embarked on a train that enabled him to escape the boring adult world and enter a place where he was powerful? I love that question. And I say, it became a $21 billion question in terms of what the Harry Potter franchise has earned. And here's one from Airbnb. And once again, this is applicable to your thought processes at Astro. In overcoming digital disruption and all the big business challenges that you're facing, what if we could start with a blank page? Which means forget about the wonderful, proud, big history of Astro. What if we can start with a completely blank page? Would we still do the same things? Would we still do them the same way? Would we still even be in broadcasting? What would that look like if we started with a completely blank page, just like, forget our investments, forget our commitments, forget our audiences, forget everything. That's a really powerful question. I'm a big fan of this guy, Joe Gebeer, one of the founders of Airbnb. Really big thinker. And there's more of his questions in the book, Killer Questions, available in the foyer. Did I mention that? Yeah. Okay. So the next question, the next stage rather, is make our why questions into what if questions. So we come back to our format here. And we say, okay, we've got our why questions. And we've got a few good ones here, but let's just pick sort of 4 or 5 of these. So now it becomes what if. Now, if you remember, when we get to what if, this is where we start to reverse and flip and stretch and squeeze and do whatever we can to create a completely playful scenario. We don't know if it's realistic, we don't know if it's feasible, we don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to have fun exploring it. That's what if's all about. So, what if why is there a lot of repetition? What if there's no repetition? All right. What if there's no repetition? So that's the straightforward way of putting it. You might also think about it in another way. What if?
What if the consumer can choose not to, can opt out from repetition, so they still have a choice?
Great, okay. Yeah, what? What if the consumer could opt out, yeah? Consumer could opt out of repeats. Yeah, or what if every show was a one-off, yeah? So you see how we can just be very playful with the format. It's not sort of one question becomes one question. We can play with it. What if every show was a one-off, yeah? Every show was a one-off special event or whatever, yeah? Okay, next. Why must we have sport content? What if? Sorry? Remember, apart from reversing, we've also got stretching and squeezing. So what if could be, what if there's no sport, right? So what if no sport is 1? And let's stretch it. What if? Yeah, that's it. What if it was 24/7, 365 sport? Great. Thanks, Jinli. Let's go to which one do you want to tackle here? We've got why does it have to be expensive? Why does transmission fail in the rain? Why do we have advertisements? Why do we have satellite dishes? Okay, so what if? How cheap? Push it as far as you can. What if? Okay, what if it was free? All right, so there's creative energy to that. What if it's free? What else? What if? Great. Yeah, what if we make it more expensive? And then always go one step further. How expensive? Quantify it, put a price tag on it. So what if it's?
Double up the price.
Double the price. Nice. Good work, sir. Yeah, what if it's double the price? Exactly. Maybe that's not even enough. I think we need more. Yeah. Yeah, we need to really have the creative energy in the question, because if there's no creative energy in the question, it won't be in the answer.
What if we pay someone to watch?
Yeah. Yeah, great. What if we pay our viewers to watch? Nice. Let me know when that scheme comes in, yeah? What if we pay viewers to watch? That's a great question. What if we pay viewers to watch? Astro. Okay, cool. Nice. And let's just take one more.
Advertisement?
Yep. So what if, why do we have advertisements? What's the what if question? Okay. What if we have no advertisements?
What if all the advertisements are put in one channel?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not just getting to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Great. You see how that idea has engaged people, right? People are involved in that idea, as crazy as it sounds, right? It's already sparking. So what if all advertisements on one channel, yeah? One channel, yeah? And then we take it further. What if all ads on one channel and we're paid to watch it? And I like that because you're combining existing ideas, yeah? And we're paid to watch it, right? Okay, that'll do. Oh, I love it. Well done, guys. We're going great. Thank you. Good. Fire in the hole! Okay. So we come to the last part of the little structure there, which is the how questions. All right. So how, this is where we come back to reality. We made a detour into Crazyville with how questions. We come back to reality because we're looking to land the solution now. All right? Not brainstorm it, but the how question is our springboard question for brainstorming. That's the question, that's the killer question that we will be brainstorming from. Now, let's have a look at some great examples. Is anyone familiar with the great Malaysian artist called Red Hong Yi? Yeah, I think she's fantastic. To me, she's the greatest living artist in the world today. I follow art very closely around the world, and I think she is the most inspiring, the most original, awesome artist that's alive today. Amazing talent across so many things. But this is her question. As an artist, how can I say goodbye to paintbrushes? That's the question she tries to answer every morning when she wakes up. She goes, no, I'm not going to paint something. I'm going to make pictures using basketballs dipped in ink. Have you seen that one? Yeah, of Yao Ming, yeah. She cuts up fruit and vegetables and does plates of food. Amazing food porn, yeah. She does incredible things. This was using chopsticks and Jackie Chan. Amazing artworks, no paintbrush in sight. So she's answering that question. How can I make art without using paintbrushes? And a couple quotes here. This one is Rob Dyrdek from MTV, the program Ridiculousness. Anyone seen this? Yeah? All right, cool. So he and his production team sit down every day and say, how can we relentlessly manufacture amazing? That's what they're trying to achieve when they make their program. Is it amazing? How do we make it amazing? And he has another one. How can I tell a story that's irresistibly shareable? So that's what they're trying to answer when they go to air. They're trying to create that content that's going to answer this question. And if it doesn't answer that question, well, guess what? You're not going to get the viewership. You're not going to get the ratings. Your contract's going to be torn up and your career is finished. So this question is driving his high standards. It's driving his creativity. It's driving his career. Yeah? And there's a book called Hitmakers. I don't know if anyone's seen it or read it. Thoroughly enjoyable, but it's on the theories of what makes stuff viral by a guy called Derek Thompson. Would somebody like to read this? Perhaps you'd like to read this out for us, please?
How do people want to experience news, entertainment, and storytelling, whether the medium is word, images, or sounds?
Yeah, that's what he says your challenge is. All the people involved in content and production in this room, that's your challenge. Whether it's words, images, content, broadcast, what is your reader, what is your listener, what is your viewer really want from you? And if you can work that out and deliver on that, you'll be relevant to the future. So, as we come to the final part of our formula, the how questions, I'm going to give you a sneaky secret. This is from Silicon Valley. And the formula is this. How might we achieve our objective? So this is the basic format for a killer question. This is the question that you will go away and brainstorm to solve, because if you solve that, that's the problem that's going to guarantee your future. And we phrase it as, how might we? Why do you think we use the format of how might we? What's special about the word might, for instance? Possibility. Well, you guys are good. Yeah, possibility. Have you attended my program before, madam? You know all my answers. Yeah, it's possibility. Might is not how should we do this, how could we do this, how might we do it? It still leaves open the creative possibility, right? And what about the word we? I'm a lone wolf creative genius. Shouldn't it be, how might I solve this problem? How might I take over the world? Yes? No? What's the magic of we? Why we? Yeah, working as a team, collaboration. That's it. All the things coming together. We talked before about getting people around the table, different experiences, different inputs. And, you know, collaboration really works powerfully in a creative context. Building on other people's ideas around the table. You might have the germ of the idea, but somebody else can really bring it to its full potential. So how might we achieve that objective, whatever our objective is? So let's come to the final part here with our format and our questions. So how might we? We just abbreviate that to HMW. So the what if question is, what if there's no repetition, or what if the consumer could opt out of repeats, or what if every show is a one-off? Which of these do we want to tackle? Which one is the most engaging out of that? What if there's no repetition? What if the consumer could opt out of repeats, or what if every show is a one-off? Great, so the question becomes, how might the viewer opt out of repeats? Yeah? Okay, so if that's a very important business issue for you, that might be the question where you say, you know what, we're going to have a brainstorm on that. If that's our selected question, then you get the team around and say, this is the problem we need to solve. Whether it's a technical problem, whether it's a marketing problem, whether it's a whatever problem. How can we do that, solve that problem in the most creative way? All right. Okay, next. What if there was no sport? Let's lump these two together. What if there's no sport, or what if we had 24/7, 365 sport? So how might we? Which one do you want to tackle here? Okay, so how are we going to phrase that? How might we have a TV station without sport, or how might we what without sport?
Make it interesting without sports. Content.
Okay, so how might we? Yeah, this can go many ways. This is good. So what was your question?
How might we make our company interesting without the sports?
Okay. Okay, how might we make Astro maybe interesting or watchable? So once again, you can play with the words, because each word will give you a different thing, right? So interesting, watchable, shareable, etc., right? All these good words. Shareable, without sport. And then that forces you then to start brainstorming about how you can drive the quality and the interest and engagement factor of your other content, right? Cool. What if it's free? How might we?
Make it free.
Yeah, how might we be free to wear, yeah? How might we be free to wear? Next, double the price. How might we? Yeah, how might we justify a premium price, yeah? Which takes you down a very different avenue, which is, you know, quality, content, etc., and marketing, right? How might we, justify a premium price? Okay, what if we pay viewers to watch Astro? How might we?
How many pay, how many get the money?
Yeah, how might we make profit by paying the customer to watch it?
Yeah, okay, great. How might we make profit, or how might we pay viewers to watch and still make profit? See, all these things, you play around with it until you go, oh yeah, that feels better. Yeah, just play, right? Great. And we've got two more. What if we have no advertisements? What if all the ads are on one channel? And what if all the ads are on one channel and we pay people to watch? Which one do you want to tackle there? What if we have all the ads on one channel? Okay, so how might we have a channel? Yeah. Which is only advertisements, yeah? Which is ads, and then once again, 24/7, yeah? Yeah? Great. So what I enjoy to do, once you get to the end of the format here, is to look back and say, well, what were the assumptions that we flipped and flopped and played around with that got us to this thinking point, right? Yeah? Does that make sense? All right. Good. Now, what happens from here in a typical, what I call question storm session, not a brainstorm session, because remember, we're trying to formulate the best question. We're trying to come up with a killer question. Is which of these questions is the most urgent or interesting or important for Astro to solve at the moment? Is it, how might the viewer opt out of repeats? Is it, how might we make Astro interesting, watchable, shareable without sport? How might we make Astro a free-to-air channel? How might we justify premium pricing? How might we make profit and pay viewers to watch? And how might we have a channel which is ads 24/7? So which criteria do we want to select? Is it the most interesting problem to brainstorm? Or is it the most urgent one to brainstorm? Yeah, usually the choices are interesting, urgent, or important. Which is the most important problem to solve? And they're all very different, right? If we change the selection criteria of the question, it ends up being a very, very different requirement for the answer. So which do we want to go with? Is it urgent? Is it a burning platform? Or do we just want to look at the most interesting problem for you guys to solve? Or do we want to go with the most important problem for you to solve? Important? Interesting? All right, let's have some voting here. How are we going to do this? If you want to do interesting, please move to that corner of the room. If you want to do the most important problem to solve, go to that corner of the room. If you want to solve the most urgent problem, then come to this corner of the room. So, interesting, important, urgent. Interesting, important, urgent. Right, nobody sees it as urgent, okay? Oh, that's right, we're in Malaysia. Okay, so a few people sensing the urgency. So it looks like the winners are these guys. What? Important. All right, so we'll go with that criteria. So what happens now is we vote on which is the most important problem for Astro to solve right now? Okay, what's the most important problem? Would it be the viewer with the repeats? Tell you what, everybody gather around here. Let's bring the board out here. Because what happens now is something very similar to, not anarchy, democracy. Democracy, where everybody gets to vote, right? And the important thing about voting on what you think is the most important problem to solve is that you follow your own gut feel. Don't be led by, oh, what does my boss think? Or what are the other guys voting? Da, da, da. Go with your perspective. Go with your perception. Go with your individuality on this one. All right? And then typically what we do is we give people red sticky dots, and you come up and you vote. You got three dots, and you can either put 3 on one question, or 1 against 3 questions, or 2 on one on another one, up to you. And we count up the dots, and in true democratic fashion, that question wins. So just reflect on this. What is the most important question for us to solve?
Make profit and
Make profit and at the same time,
viewers to watch.
agree with that.
Where's that one?
Second last.
This one. So how might we pay viewers to watch and still make a profit, yeah? All right, so we got some support for this. Anyone else?
How to justify our premium prices?
Yeah, okay. That might suit your criteria better, because this, paying viewers to watch is not how you work at the moment, right? So it's not that's more of a different possibility business model, yeah? But you're probably in this thing at the moment, how do we justify a premium price? Because that's the situation that you're in, that's the challenge that you're facing at the moment, yeah?
But would it be urgent or is actually important? I thought
According to the rest of the people, it's not urgent at all. You can just take your sweet time. Netflix can wait. According to the rest of the people. Youth-free, however, see the urgency. I believe it's urgent, but that's just me. Yeah, I think it's very urgent. I think it's a burning platform. Like so many businesses, like so many clients I work with, their business model is a burning platform. The flames are licking at your feet. Yeah, I believe it's urgent, yeah. Let's look at it another way. If we're going to solve the most urgent problem, what do you think the most urgent problem is? We'll just put a little star next to this one as the important one. What do you think is the most urgent problem? Do you think it's the repeats thing? Do you think it's the sport thing? Do you think it's how to be free to air? How to justify premium pricing? How to make profit and pay viewers to watch? Or how might we have a channel which is all ads 24/7?
pricing.
Sorry, I put this next to the wrong thing. Pricing.
The other one is actually
As the urgent one, right?
the other one is it only sports or is actually make our the one is sports only.
Yeah.
That is actually
So it
quite
sounds like it might be urgent and important. So I would say, without any further debate, that this is your killer question. How might we justify our premium pricing? That, Astro, is your killer question. Yeah? So what we do is... thank you, is we then make that our hero question. All right. Which is, how might we justify our premium pricing, yeah? How might we justify our premium pricing? Now, if you refer back to the canvas, to the worksheet, the next step from here is, if we've agreed that that's our killer question, that's our preferred thing based on our criteria, now we improve the question. Improving means really look at it and say, is there a way we can tweak it? Are there words that we can substitute? Can we make it stronger? What do you guys think? How might we justify our premium pricing? Sometimes you might want to make it more specific or make it more global.
How can we show value on our pricing?
Yeah, how might we show value? Yeah, that's another way of doing it. So how might we show value? Yep. Show value on our premium pricing. Yeah.
How do we convince people to pay us premium pricing?
How do we convince people? How might we convince people? Yeah, we could do that. How might we convince people? Yep, what else?
How is the premium pricing different than what you already have?
That takes it in a completely different direction. Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is just really tweak that rather than to reinvent it. Like fine-tune, that's what we're trying to do now, right? We're trying to really fine-tune this so that it's the strongest possible. That's why we call it a killer question. Just like the questions we saw there that have changed the world. What's the question for Astro? That's going to change the world. What's the question for your business that's going to take it to the future?
How we make it perceived cheap?
All right, how might we?
Oh, no, not cheap.
Maybe it's a value rather than
Yeah.
cheap.
Value for money.
How might we make Astro perceived as value for money? Yeah. Can you see how each subtle shift gives it a slightly different energy, a different focus to the question, yeah? As value for money, right? Okay.
How might we improve customers' experience?
Come again?
How might we improve the customer experience?
Yep.
So actually it's related back together to create more value with what the customers do.
Yeah, a different focus, but yeah, how might we improve customer experience? Or customers' viewing experience, whatever, yeah. Okay, cool.
How do we perceive as a niche product?
What do you mean by that? Because that sort of takes it in a very different direction from where we're going with it, right? Unless the niche, by that you mean it's like a category of one. So who asked the question? Oh, it was you, okay. Yeah, if you mean how do we become like perceived as a category of one, meaning, you know, so strong in our own sort of category, then that's different.
We want to look like we specialize for a certain part of people.
Exclusivity. How might we make people can't live without Astro?
I love that question. How might we, come again, how might we?
People make people can't live without.
Yeah, okay. Can't live without Astro. I love the emotional pull of that, right? That's cool, without Astro. And you used the word addict, right? Without Astro. See, words like that, living without or addict or something, they have an energy. Words with energy demand our brain's attention, right? So, what was your question? How might we? Yeah, because, okay, here's the thing. If people are addicted to us, they don't care how much they pay. They will give up food for their children if they're addicted to our program, right? How might we, yeah, how might we make Astro addictive? Wow. I'm glad I thought of that question. Yeah, how might we make Astro addictive? I can feel the energy of that question. Getting back to what the guy from MTV was saying, how do we make it irresistibly shareable, etc., etc.? That's the thing. How do we make Astro addictive? Yeah. For me, if I was facilitating this session, and I am, absolutely I would say that is your killer question. Because if you make Astro absolutely must watch, must have,
You solve other questions.
exactly. So can you see how we've improved this. I think we've made it a more powerful, more compelling question. What you want is a question that you jump out of bed in the morning to answer, every morning. And if every astro person came to work every morning thinking my job is to say, make people addicted to what we do, wow, if you aim for that, and that becomes the benchmark against all your work, all your content ideas, all your storylines are judged. Will this make it addictive? Will this hook people to astro? And if the answer is yes, great, go and produce it. If the answer is no, go back and try a little bit harder. That's it. What do you think? Well, yeah. So, I now crown this the killer question. Can we all say, woo? Can we all say the killer question? The killer question. The killer question. And now turn to the camera and 3 times. The killer question. The killer question. The killer question. All right, great. So that's how the canvas works. Thank you so much indeed for all your input. Good. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. The killer question. All right. So, as I make that question your hero, and once you've got it, make sure you take it and stick it on your wall at work. Stick it where people can see it and go, oh, what's that about? And leave it up there for a week or 2, and people will begin to engage with it. It'll be seeded in people's subconscious minds, and they won't be able to sleep either. They'll wake up screaming in sweat in the middle of the night, going, I know how to make astro addictive. So put your question up on the wall. So everybody, how might we, right? Everybody can go away and think about it and solve it, and then set the time to come and brainstorm that in the ensuing weeks, yeah? That was magic, guys. Thank you so much indeed. That was, I really felt we got somewhere just from, I say, a simple, what did we invest? An hour of our time on this template, which brought us to a very, very powerful place. A very powerful place, I feel. And I hope you feel that as well. But the important thing here is that you now have a tool that regardless of whether you're in production or content or admin or marketing or research or whatever, you have a tool now where you can systematically solve your problems and systematically create opportunities for yourself. Do you feel that? Great. Good. Thank you. Everyone stand up, please. We've talked a lot today about perception shifting. I don't think you should play. This letter H here, is that inside the box or outside the box? Hey? Inside the box or outside the box? Put your hand directly up if you think it's inside the box, and put your hand to the left if you think it's outside the box. Who sees it outside the box? Outside the box should be here. Who sees it? And keep it there if you see it the other way as well. Who sees it inside the box? Who is struggling to see the box? Okay, so let's just practice a little bit of perception shifting. So let's say it's outside the box. That means it's on the leading edge, at the front edge, sticking out. Can we see it at the front here? Can everyone see that now? Yep. Irene, you've gone quiet. Are you seeing the box? Okay, good. All right. Let's shift perception now. And H is at the back of the box. So this is the back end of the box. It's on the inside back corner of the box. Can everyone see it inside? Yep. Great. Now flick it to outside. Yep. And back to inside. Still outside? Just go douche, douche a couple of times inside your head. That usually fixes it. Yeah, so what's happening? You're shifting perception. The image is not moving. Your brain inside your head is going squelch, squelch, squelch. You're shifting perception. You're seeing your problem, you're seeing your challenge, you're seeing your opportunity in a completely different angle. Yeah? And questions are really good for that. Questions are the way to help you see your problems, challenges, opportunities from a different perception. With that, I thank you very much indeed. Good. But because you've been such good boys and girls today, I'm going to treat you to one little story more. Do you want a story?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay, so a quick story, because I know that some of you want to rush home and et cetera, et cetera. What we're going to talk about is Einstein and the power of questioning with Einstein. Last year, beginning of last year, I was in Bern in Switzerland. And I visited Einstein's house. The house where Einstein lived while he worked as a patent clerk for the Swiss government. And the very place where he lived when he conceived E equals mc squared. And in his 3-story walk-up apartment, there was all this furniture. The desk, the heavy wooden desk where he used to work through his problems. The baby bassinet where his first child was born and raised. And on those creaking wooden floorboards, Einstein used to pace backwards and forwards. I don't have the hair for Einstein, but just imagine, right? He used to pace back and forwards and just say, if only I had the right question. If only I had the right question. Because he knew having the right question would unlock the secrets of the universe for him. And that's the way Einstein worked. And I'll leave you with one quote from Einstein, which is this. I would love you to read this for us, please. Thank you.
The formulation of a problem is often more essential than its solution.
That was the importance that Einstein put on questioning. He reckoned if you spend 95% of your time on getting the question right, the answer would come to you a whole lot easier. And that, I believe, is the secret of killer questions. So thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Hey. All righty, that's it. Thank you. Cheers. Good.
How much is the book?
How much is the book? Oh. So you want the ads? Okay. How much is the book? We're going to be democratic. I was thinking 20 ringgit is reasonable. What do you think?
Yes.
Reasonable? If I say it's 20 ringgit, who's going to buy? With a signed copy?
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, here's the deal. 20 ringgit, I sign it. 30 ringgit, I won't sign it. Who's in? 20? Is that reasonable for you guys? Yeah. Okay, cool, great. If anyone would like a copy, lovely. I'll be happy to give you a copy. First in the world to have this book, by the way, yeah? Yeah. There you go. World premiere. Good. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Go. Put some music on.